Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 4 Shockin' Awesome is a bug-stomping adventure, and well, it's pretty awesome. In Chapter 6 Season 4, you are a super soldier from a military organization dedicated to fighting back against a horde of invading bug creatures, supported by powerful weapons that fall in with drop pods. Chapter 6 Season 4 is Helldivers 2. In Helldivers 2, you are a super soldier from a military organization dedicated to fighting back against a horde of invading bug creatures, supported by powerful weapons that fall in with hell pods. And well, it's pretty awesome. Helldivers 2 won Best Ongoing Game over Fortnite at the Game Awards in 2024, so Fortnite geniusly responded by copying Helldivers with as little subtlety as possible. I think it's interesting that Helldivers won that award, considering it wasn't even a year old at the time, and had massive controversy already. Meanwhile, Fortnite had been out and evolving for over 7 years. Obviously, Helldivers was the big thing, which I'm sure influenced the decision, but it also implies that Helldivers is doing something right that Fortnite just isn't. So, what could Fortnite learn from the success of Helldivers 2? I think it comes down to one key feature: engagement. I'm splitting this into two major sides: community engagement and engaging gameplay. But first, Get Into Teaching has kindly sponsored this video so that I can talk about their new Fortnite island, Mr. Pickle 2 Student Run. The island is built around helping 4 student NPCs, each with their own challenge. Barnaby needs guidance, Penelope needs somebody to encourage her creativity, Jasper needs a confidence boost, and Sybil needs help solving a problem. Your job is to get them through a series of puzzles, obstacle courses, and platforming sections, while trying not to embarrass yourself in the process. And trust me, some of these jumps had me sweating. Every obstacle looks so easy until you're the one falling off of it. What I really liked though is that everything ties back to the skills that teachers use every day. You're not just completing random tasks for the sake of it, you're helping people overcome challenges, encouraging them when they're stuck, and figuring out the solutions together. The map does a really good job of showing that teaching is a lot more than standing at the front of a classroom talking. It's about helping people reach their potential, with all the things that come with that. Skills like leadership, creativity, and problem solving. Those themes are woven into the gameplay the whole way through. But that's not all. There are collectibles hidden around the island, plenty of opportunities to test your platforming skills, and a final reward waiting for players who manage to help all the students. And yes, that includes a chance to meet the legendary Mr. Pickle himself. I don't want to oversell it, but honestly, he's kind of an icon. So whether you're curious about teaching, thinking about it as a career in the future, or you simply want to prove how much better you are at parkour than me, it's definitely worth checking out. The island code is on screen now, there's a link down in the description, and huge thanks again to Get Into Teaching for sponsoring the video. Helldivers 2 is a masterclass in making players feel like part of something bigger than themselves. If Fortnite really wanted to borrow from Helldivers 2's community engagement playbook, it could pick up some lessons that go far beyond just gameplay mechanics, although we will come back to those. Helldivers 2's Galactic War is essentially a constant server-wide tug-of-war, where everyone's mission results count towards the same goal. Players check in day by day, not just to earn personal rewards, but to see the war map move, planets liberated, or enemies strike back. Meanwhile in Fortnite, the seasonal story beats are usually disconnected set pieces and personal quest lines, and the community-wide goals usually boil down to unlock this cosmetic after however many challenges are completed, or smash this rock 1 million times to break it. In Chapter 3 Season 2, you could join weekly battles between the Imagined Order and the Seven to reclaim various POIs on the map. I always thought this was a pretty uninteresting way to fight the final battle of a 20-season storyline. Imagine if, instead of scripted minigames in each match, it was actually an evolving community push where we could actually take back or lose a location to the IO in real time, instead of just whenever the next downtime update drops. That would be so cool. The Helldivers war map occasionally throws unexpected setbacks, new enemy types, sudden planet losses, stuff like that. These energize the community to band together once again. It's a level of unpredictability that is so great for engaging people over a long time. Players will log in just because, well, what if something big happens? Fortnite doesn't really have this. Every major moment in a live event is pre-scripted, and while there are the occasional shocking or funny moments, for the most part the story has fallen into a bad guy rises, we defeat him, new bad guy routine, which is repetitive and not very interesting. Epic could lean into that flexible, unpredictable back and forth that Helldivers does pretty well. I mean, when was the last time a Fortnite location was destroyed without warning? Tilted Towers, maybe? The devs of Helldivers 2, Arrowhead, post frequent informal communications. You get this feeling that the devs are really in the trenches with you, adjusting the game based on your feedback in almost real time. Epic actually changes a ton of stuff with every update and even more with random hotfixes, but most people just don't know this because the patch notes are bland and missing pretty much any notable info that isn't the shiny new collab or, if you're lucky, the newest item. Did you know? Epic brought back the 14 days style daily unvaults for 2025's summer event. These were such an acclaimed part of 2019's festivities, and people have been asking Epic to bring it back for years. So they did, but I wouldn't blame you for not knowing because they didn't advertise it anywhere outside of the in-game quests tab that basically nobody checks. We only have to turn to the past to see a good example of this done right. Epic used to do playful in-character patch notes around the end of Chapter 2, with the Hot Sauces notes and JB Chimpanski's press releases, and I think that would be a really great thing to tap back into. Deliver the information we want to know in a charming and fun way. I shouldn't have to go out and check a leaker's Twitter account to find out what balance changes have been made, especially since they're wrong half the time anyway. If we're lucky, they might pop out a vague one-line Fortnite status tweet that raises more questions than answers. This is all stuff that Fortnite has a grip on, or did at some point do well, but if they just went a little further, the community engagement could be really great. But let's talk about gameplay. Fortnite's PvE gameplay isn't very engaging, not only in the core Battle Royale mode, but I don't think PvE-focused modes like Save the World or Expeditions are hugely engaging either. I think there are a few core gameplay features that are similar between the two games, but that Helldivers just does better. In fact, Fortnite has already started to implement some. The bug-bashing Lead Splitter 3000 has the same crosshair recoil system that makes guns in Helldivers feel so good. Helldivers 2 thrives on coordinated high-stakes PvE missions where alien threats arrive en masse, forcing teamwork under pressure. By comparison, Fortnite has these limited PvE events that feel shallow in scale and in impact. Case example. Chapter 2 Season 8. You watch the trailer and it's this huge invasion of the cubes everywhere you look, but then you actually get into the game and there's like 5. And don't get me wrong, I loved that season, but it's a prime example of where they could have just done so much more. I think a great example of a mode that does PvE quite well in Fortnite's signature style is Horde Rush. Horde Rush can get quite overwhelming towards the end, with tons and tons of zombies and big bosses all trying to kill you in a shrinking, moving zone. It's brilliant, and I would love to see something like it for Shock and Awesome's bugs. Combine that elevated enemy presence across the map with some more of the trademark Helldivers features for a good time, such as the stratagems. The stratagem system in Helldivers 2 adds deep tactical decision making. Basically, you pre-select powerful orbital drops like airstrikes, extra guns, and defense turrets before a mission, and then in the game you must execute an input sequence to call them in. The weapon meta in Fortnite focuses on real-time pickups and cooldown based abilities, but a layered strategic system with call-in support items with activation input and team synergy could add a lot more complex decision making and loadout variety. They could be found as items that stick to your player, like boons, or they could work like Chapter 4's augments. Once you found one in a match, it's unlocked. The current system in place in Fortnite is the hero ranking, where you level up from getting kills, opening chests, surviving storms, just generally doing stuff, which is a good system and works well for Fortnite's gameplay loop. But imagine if you could call in these drops too, and they had special items. Wouldn't that be cool? I think one of the most interesting decisions in Helldivers 2 as a co-op shooter is the decision that friendly fire is always on, making positioning and communication absolutely critical. Friendly fire adds an extra layer to high-stress scenarios, and I've had my fair share of moments where I've accidentally killed my friend while we were getting swarmed. It's part of the fun, it's part of the charm of Helldivers 2. Fortnite's PvE modes almost always disable friendly fire to minimize frustration, and I understand the design philosophy there. Battle Royale had friendly fire in its earliest days, and it could be a bit of a mess, especially with the wrong people. But I think reintroducing limited risk could encourage smarter coordination and less spam fire in team PvE modes. Let's be honest, we all just hold down right trigger to win. Imagine if your hypothetical drop pod could land on and squish your teammate, and a mistimed grenade throw could blow your bro to smithereens. That would be hilarious. Fortnite already innovates with seasonal freshness and creative modes, and I'm not trying to imply that they must lift these ideas from Helldivers for a good experience, or that all of these ideas are fit for Fortnite, especially the Battle Royale mode. But by borrowing elements from Helldivers, taking a little bit of inspiration, they could really level up the depth and replayability of Fortnite's co-op PvE experiences. Because frankly, right now, maybe it's just me, I play Expeditions once, I don't really want to play it again. And they could also take strides to improve community engagement across the board, because let's be honest, it's kind of at an all-time low right now. It's a fun think piece into what Epic could learn from another highly successful online game, especially since they are lovingly ripping off Helldiver's entire fang with Shock and Awesome. Inspiration is, well, awesome. But is anyone else a little bit surprised that there isn't even a Helldivers collab? This is like the collab game, and they're doing like the Helldivers season, and it's nowhere to be seen. That seems like a huge missed opportunity. At least we got this baddie.